Just when I think we out the Stone Age, y'all, bedrock comes back and hits us upside of the head with a wooden club. Mm, mm, mm. Welcome, y'all, to the DeAndre Way. I am your host, DeAndre, and today is a brand new day with a brand new show with a brand new plot. And this show is called The Trust. This is the first episode recap of it. And yeah, I finished the first episode and I'm very disappointed off the rip. I don't like how this man, Juelz, was judged so harshly just based off his personality per se. And everything he said, in particular to him being a hustler, was mis was misread and pretty much transformed that little saying into something to what it wasn't. You know, and it sucks because, the sister had to go against him when she's the one wearing the African earrings. I'm like, girl, what is going on right now? So problematic off the rip, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Thank you guys for tuning in today. And yes, this is exciting, brand new show. Uh get to look forward to some whole new characters, whole new cast. And we gonna get down to the nitty-gritty of what's really going on with this new Netflix reality series. So we gonna jump right into it, y'all. We get introduced to the show called The Trust right off the get-go. And they say it's a group of strangers that come to this beautiful island, I believe in Dominican Republic, and they have a chance to win $250,000 or split it evenly. And that's up to their decisions, if they're going to split it with each other or keep it all to themselves. So it wasn't clarified if they do decide to split it, or if they do decide to eliminate people, if there's only going to be one winner or multiple winners. We don't know this yet. They kind of just said that was it. But yes, so right off the rip, the idea of the show, it's basically share the money or split the money. With these shows, you got to keep in mind there's a lot of things left out. There's a lot of things cut. So we don't get the full context of everything unless we're speaking with someone from the show, which we plan on doing eventually. But yes, until then, I am giving my perspective, my take, and what you see as the viewer point of view. But also, I'm trying to dive deep in, having experience with these reality shows, and really looking in between the lens of what's really popping. So, yes, we get these people, strangers walking out, and they see all each other, maybe or maybe not for the first time. We don't know. And we find out the host comes out, this white lady, and she, tells them the rules of the game. Like, you've all won. And they're like, huh? I'm like, oh, we already won the money. And yeah, she tells them the rules. You can decide to, if you guys want to keep each other in the game, y'all can split this $250,000 with each other. And that's a roughly $23,000 for each person if they all ended up staying, because there's 11 people. And so I'm thinking, I was like, that doesn't sound too bad. $20,000. If you're a hustler, you could flip that easy. That could go towards a lot of things. That would take care of everything I need, and then I could be good to go. But some people, that's not, in the grand scheme of things, it's not a lot of money. But just to be handed this, yeah, that's nice. That's definitely a nice bonus check, coach. So yes, immediately when you get the money temptation and you make friends with these people, they probably, been isolated and not being able to see anyone else for several days at this point. So, these people kind of become your best friends overnight, as crazy as that sounds. But that's the magic of, being isolated on a TV show and being around kind of similar, like-minded people, like-minded in the sense of they decided to do this show as well. So with people getting close quickly, you got to understand that, there's nobody else around to talk to. You can't email nobody, call nobody, text nobody, DM nobody. It's just you and these other people. and then you form a bond over that because you learn so much about them very quickly and get to the core of who they are as a person. But yeah, I think I'll try and put myself in the shoes. Yeah, it seems to be cool to split with these people because it doesn't seem like anyone's a bad person and everyone deserves the money off initial impressions and what they had to go off of at that point and period of time. But you do want more of the money. No, would you rather have 20 grand or would you have 100 grand or 250 grand? You know, it's a big difference, especially when taxes come into play. Because taxes come into play. That 20 grand ain't nothing, coach. But it's still a little something. But yes, this girl, I believe it's Julie, I could be wrong, says money is everything to her. She thinks it's something that she could say, that she could use to say, I'm better than you. I don't know about all that, coach. That's not what money's for, is to think that you're better than someone because you got more money. I just think having more money gives you, more leeway to do what you want. But it's definitely not a matter of if you're better than someone or showing off. Who cares if you have a Louis bag? That don't make you a better person or a better human or anything. That just means you got a Louis bag. Cool. You want a cookie? But I could be mistaken if that's Julie or not, but I think it was. But it went through quickly with everyone giving their little like tidbits and whatnot. But we meet the cast soon and they go through it real quick. So I tried to get everything down. We meet Brian. He's 42. He's a rancher, the guy with the cowboy hat. We meet Gaspar. I'm saying his name wrong. I'm sorry. Gasper, he's 33. He's a teacher. We meet Julie, 20. She's 28. She's an entrepreneur. Winnie, 30. She's 31. She's a bartender. Bryce, he's 22. He's a realtor. Jake, 37. He's a military contractor. Joel, 32. He's a police officer. Or not Joel, Juelz. He's a police officer. And Tulu, 26. She's a marketing manager. And then we meet Jay, 70. She's retired. And Lindsay, 43. She's a business coach. I think that's everyone. Simone, 55 and unemployed. I believe that. So we have Simone, Lindsay, Jay, Tulu, Juelz, Jake, Bryce, Winnie, Julie, Gaspar, and Brian. So yes, that's all 11 people. That's our intro to them. They don't get to explain. They just go through them real quick, with that part. So we don't get to get in depth of who they are. But yes, interesting group of people, all different facets of life. Nobody seems to be a clone or carbon copy of the other person from initial impressions. And, when you're initially meeting people, I think that nowadays in 2024, you got to take your judgments, put the judgments and put them to the side. You can't just look at someone and see what they're wearing and automatically, oh, I know about this person. I think I know this person in and out, left and right, up and down. Nah, that's not how you do it. You got to talk to the people or person per se, get to know them, understand who they are, and stop making the snap judgments. And unfortunately, that's the reality. Like, people are going to make snap judgments about you when you first meet them with whatever situation you're in. That's why first impressions are everything. But I don't think you can look at someone for the first time, see what they're wearing, maybe how they're walking, and just, immediately think, this person deserves this. This person doesn't deserve this. I don't fly with that. That's not cool. And if anyone in here is thinking that off the rip, then they need to go home because they need to check themselves and look at themselves in the mirror and see, like, well, why am I doing that to people? Would you want people to do that to you? No, just take the person as they are, see what they have to say, and actions what they do to give you reason to believe what you want to believe. But just looking at somebody, no. Now, and that includes, people that could have like a tattoo on their face or a big gauges or whatever. You don't know them. You don't know these people. So don't make snap judgments and think of what they're going to do when not even a word has came out of their mouth. That's just me though. But yes, we all have our natural presumptions, but we have to use our urge to fight against that. It's human nature. I get it. So I don't crucify anyone for doing it. I mean, everyone does it, including myself. But I fight the urge to kind of come to a conclusion to know if someone, I want to be more friendly to this person because of X, Y, Z. No, be friendly to everyone just because we're all human. initially, and then you can, whatever happens after that happens after that. But yes, we meet everyone, and they already from the rip, from the get go, start judging Juelz hardcore. Oh, his shirt is unbuttoned. He's a pimp. He's a player. Oh, I'm like, what are you guys talking about? You guys think you guys are on a beach, and this guy has a six pack and pecs. You think because he has his shirt unbuttoned a little bit and he's showing, his body a little bit means that he thinks that he's all that in a bag of chips and he's a pimp and hustler and player? Come on. That's hypocritical because if a woman was out there and she had her bikini on, would it be fair if people just assume she was, she was what's the right word? A friendly word. She was out in these streets, a hot girl? Would that be cool? If people just assume that? Maybe she just wanted to get a good tan and she's on the beach and she works out so she can show her body. What's wrong with that? Nothing's wrong with that. It takes a lot of confidence to be able to do something like that, actually. So people judging this man off the rip, I don't like it. They're already making presumptions about him, and it's ugly. It's very ugly to see, and I'm not a fan of it. So, and it's always, I'm tired of seeing the brother always being looked at first as a target. Like why? Why? Because of his shirt being unbuttoned? Really, y'all? Really? Ugh, goodness. We getting off to a good start though. But yes, the host soon says they have the choice to share the money equally or to vote to cut someone out to keep more money for themselves. So tempting offer, tempting offer. And yes, then the host says that they have a choice right here, right now to decide on who could potentially be going home. And somebody wants to vote, they should step forward. Now, this little tactic right here, this was obviously a ploy to get someone to expose themselves. It would have been dumb for anyone to do this because they would have been the first target. You're immediately going to vote someone out for no reason whatsoever. You would have been out next. So smart on everyone not to do anything in that moment. I thought that would have been an idiotic self-sabotage gameplay. And you would have just been doing it just to get a little bit of 5 minutes of camera time. So smart on y'all. Y'all really here for the money. That showed me like everyone's here is like, okay, they actually are vibing for this money, not just, here to make themselves a meme. As far as this is, as far as we get here, I know we're only 5 seconds into the show, but I thought that was kind of, I don't know, it was a silly thing, And the premise of the show as a whole, it's different. It's something we've never seen before. So going into it an open mind and kind of seeing how things go. Initial thoughts of the layout is like, it's tempting to vote people out that you don't like, but you have to find reasons to not like someone, and you gotta get those reasons out one way or another. And so we'll see what kind of temptations arise for the cast that could maybe give them a reason to want to get someone out. We'll see. But yes, nobody decides to vote anyone out. Smart. And then everyone proceeds to walk into this house. Now, this house looks lit, y'all. I mean, it's on the beach. They got a pool right on the water. It's sick. I wish we had something like that in Squid Game. It looks like a 3 or 4 story house. Everything looks brand new. It's popping. The rooms look pretty decent as well. And there's only 11 people in this place, so it doesn't seem like it would be packed at all. I would be loving that, y'all. I would be living for it. I'm jealous. I'm very jealous. So yes, everyone proceeds into the house, and then Bryce says he does everything on his ranch. He's the farmer, he's the cow milker, he's the hay barreler. He does everything, coach. I mean, this money would really help somebody like him a lot because he's blue collar, and those jobs are needed in the economy. They're needed by everyone in the world essentially, and he's doing He's doing the Lord's work essentially, and he seems like a good dude. I like Brian or Bryce. Sorry, I like Bryce. Very country accents, but seems like a humble guy. He explains his reasoning for wanting the money, and he's tired. He's tired, Grandpa. He needs a break. I think this man deserves it already. I mean, he's a rancher. I've yet to see many ranchers on any shows, so with that alone, I know that he could definitely do some good things with his money. So shouts out to you, Bryce. So then not Bryce. I keep saying Bryce. Brian. Brian. I got Bryce and Brian. My autocorrect is messing up. Brian. And then we see Tulu and Winnie, and they start vibing with each other. So Tulu and Winnie are both black women. Tulu, she's dressed down. Like Tulu got the award of the finest woman in the house now. Like all the girls are fine in there. But Tulu, she definitely got her America's Next Top Model going on. She has these Africa earrings, which she's showing her culture, her heritage, and whatnot, and putting that on a pedestal. I like that. She's showing about herself and doing it unapologetically. I like that. And Winnie's also stunning as well. And they say they're gonna essentially look out for each other. Cool, cool. And all the girls, they show them getting together early and they're talking to each other and they're forming a little clique already. There's another, as we've seen many times in the past, the women are trying to stick together just based off being women. I think you need to find deeper connections than that. That's just me. But, you're trying to find any reason at this point to make sure somebody else has your back and won't say your name. I get it. Then we meet Bryce a little bit deeper, and we find out he's a third generation realtor, and he's admiring everything in the house. He knows what the countertops are made of. He knows what kind of wood is on the walls and on the floors. This man knows just whether the water was filtered at. This man has been in a nice house, a time or two, and this definitely doesn't look like his first time stepping into some fancy home. And off the jump, I can tell this dude he's a third generation realtor, and don't make assumptions, but from how he's presenting himself and how he's acting, he's been around some money. I saw his watch. I'm a watch dude. I could tell that watch, was a nice one, and you could tell he's well put together. It's a well put together dude. He's 22, so not most 22-year-olds put themselves together like this per se. And so I could tell like off the rip, okay, this dude definitely like he's not star shell shocked by the quality of the things around him. That's just what I'm noticing. And Simone, she says she only has her plants around her. She calls her plants like non-binary, and her plants are everything to her essentially, which I thought that was funny, and interesting. I'm not a plant dude, I don't have any plants. I don't I love plants, I just did the review over You Are What You Eat, and I'm starting to eat mushrooms now. So I just don't think of plants as people and whatnot. That's just me, coach. But hey, to each his own. And then we meet Juelz. We get to know a little about him. He says he's a stripper, but he's really a cop. So he's lying about his occupation. So look, I get it. If you a cop and you go on one of these shows, you gotta lie about your occupation, because especially in a small group, I'd say, because people will look at you right off the rip and be a little bit on guard. That's just in America at least. That's just the culture we live in. That's the day we live in. That's the times. That's just how it is. And if I was a cop, I wouldn't say I was a cop either, because that's the easiest reason to people to want to get you up out of here, because it's already kind of seems untrustworthy based on the climate that we live in America. So I don't blame him now. The stripper thing, I wasn't a big fan of him lying about being a stripper. Now look, because the stripper has its own kind of stereotypes to it, and you're a cop, so you have a chance to pick any literally pick any job that you want. He says he's a stripper and a personal trainer. I think he should have just stuck with the personal trainer because that's non-threatening. Personal trainers don't make a ton of money unless you have your full, luxury based client base and you've been doing this business for years. The stripper thing, it's just kind of, strippers are known, they're in the media to kind of be a little slimy. They're going to do whatever they need to do for the money because they're stripping. I mean, not all strippers are like the same, not putting them under an umbrella, but just based off the culture we see in the media from strippers. So I think that wasn't the smartest game plan to lie about that. He probably could pass as one, but say you a teacher, say you work for a marketing company, say CrossFitter, I don't know, but just not a stripper. Because it raises a few eyebrows. It just raises a few eyebrows. But I digress. But he seems like a good dude. Seems like a very, very good dude. Has done nothing wrong to anyone, has said nothing wrong to anyone. And we see Tulu already talking about targeting him. Now, they have a conversation and he says, he's a hustler, he does a few jobs here and there. He's trying to do anything like, oh, like, yeah, you hustle. And they twist his words and make it seem like, oh, you're a hustler. Now, there is a big difference between being a hustler and hustling. If you're a hustler and hustling people, that means you're finessing people. You might be stealing from them. You're taking advantage of them, all those things. When you're hustling, that means that you are out there trying to get it how you can get it how you live it. And that means multiple jobs. That means working long days. That means doing different things to gain money, essentially, not trying to finesse people. So I think they're getting mixed up the definitions of hustler and hustling. And in their brains, they're thinking like, oh, he's hustler. Like he's out here making everybody look silly. He's out here checking everybody's pockets. He's out here making everyone look like a fool. We don't want to look like a fool because of him. And I think saying the word hustler to certain people can ring off certain alarms. Maybe it wasn't the best word usage, but I'm pretty sure he just said I'm a hustler, as in like I'm a hustler to get my money, which I'm a hustler. I'm hustling every single day trying to do things to help myself out to make my life easier. But I'm not hustling people. I'm taking advantage of them and robbing and stealing and conning people. That's a hustler. Is basically a con man. And he's not that. So that should be known. I feel like nobody in here, except maybe Jay, is like at the age where you wouldn't understand what that word means in the context it was used in. So I just thought that was unfair and something that, look, we don't get to hear every single thing. So maybe something was said that made him seem a little more suspicious. But from what we saw, it seems like his words was twisted and taken out of context. And I'm not a fan of how they did that. And also him being a brother too. Like, come on now, brothers always out here hustling. We got to, because we did not fair in the get-go, especially in this society of how things go. So we got to get out there and hustle. Everybody needs to get there and hustle, not just the brothers. But I feel like if someone else would have said that, it wouldn't have been twisted how it was when he said it. But that's just me, coach. But yes, and Tulu is already talking about targeting him, which is, come on. Why is the sisters always turning on the brothers in these shows, man? Why are the sisters always voting out the brothers in these shows? You're supposed to have each other's backs. It's supposed to be an unspoken unity. What's happening? So she's sussing him out heavily. Like, she is on his ass. And I'm like, chill, Tulu, chill. You cool, girl. He seems to be buttering up to her, and she's just like, nah, it's not happening. I'm like, what about Africa, girl? Come on, girl. What is going on? And Julie, she's targeting him already too, and says she doesn't trust him because he said he's a hustler, along with I just said. The words, what he's saying is getting misconstrued, and being a hustler and hustling are not the same thing. He's not a hustler to the fact that he's conning people. He's a hustler in the fact that he's doing this job and then running here and then maybe selling some clothes and maybe walking some dogs and maybe doing a little DoorDash, whatever it is. That's what he's talking about, not, you know, going to the casino and stealing people's wallets out their back pockets when they lost baccarat. Okay. So Jules also says, he says to everyone, I don't plan on voting anyone else out. And immediately they think he's lying. They're like, nah, you're lying, coach. We don't believe that. Now, I do think he might have been talking a little bit much. And I do think the way you present yourself definitely is a big thing. And you can't carry yourself in a small group like this. It's only 11 people. You can't carry yourself, even in a big group. If you carry yourself in nowadays in too much of an alpha way or too much of a quote unquote show offy way, especially as a guy, especially as a guy, you're going to get targeted in many aspects. And I think he's just a guy who has a lot of confidence about himself and is comfortable in his own skin and is going to show himself off just a little bit. I mean, I think if Brian or Bryce would have worn the same exact thing and had their shirt unbuttoned, they wouldn't have thought twice. But just because Juelz is like ripped as hell, it kind of just seems a little show offy. And you got to read the room a little bit, but I don't think that he thought like, oh, I'm just showing personality. I'm just being myself. And it got completely washed away and thrown out the window into a whole different stratosphere where he didn't know where to return back to Earth from because he didn't even know he was out of space in the first place. But everyone else is isolating him, like Pluto. So I'm just not a fan of that. I don't like it. I didn't like that at all. And he was talking a lot. I will say that he did seem like he was talking a lot too. So, like I said, maybe there was something he said that kind of ostracized him in a way to the women in particular, because all the guys seem to love him. Like they seem like he's a great dude and whatnot, but the women don't like him. For some reason, they just do not like this dude. I don't know what it is. Or trust him, I say. I say they don't trust him. They might like him, but they don't trust him. And then, so we get the host popping back up, and she says, there will be a series of tests to see who they should vote out. Wonder what these tests will be. I kind of wish it was, look, I know it's a new show and they're trying not to make them like any others, but I just want the tests to be as fair as something could possibly be. Let the people earn it. I'm tired of these. I don't want to see no luck-based stuff of like, oh, this person, like some Squid Game luck-based stuff. I want to see some new innovative things to kind of put people to the test to see if they're really, I guess, really earn the money, really will earn the money and morally earn the money as well. So we'll see. Yes, she says it's a series test. Then there's a box that has secrets. She brings a box out and says the box has secrets about each of them, and random people will read each secret, and someone can say they all going to vote and say who we think it's all the secrets about this person, and then the person who sussed out about who they all think the secret is about, they can either admit to being the truth or admit to that being a lie. Now, this game has so many flaws in it. So many flaws in it to me. They should make whoever, if they guess the right person on who it is, they should be forced to tell the truth. That would make this 10 times better because if you can tell, if somebody's going to lie about it, then what's the point of the game? I didn't understand that. It just seemed, I mean, everybody could say, no, that wasn't me. No, that wasn't me. No, that wasn't me. And if you say yes, it's like, well, are you telling the truth or not? Nothing is being accomplished here. This was like a big filler game that did nothing. And even if you did admit to doing something, you could lie and elaborate a story. Not saying people who did say that the lie was, or the truth was about them, that was not the people who said that, admitted to the secrets were lying, but they could have. And, the person whose truth actually was, they could have spoken up and say, no, this is really about me. Well, why didn't you say something initially? It just, there's a big flaw in this game. I don't like it. It just seems like a big time waster to me. And because if you can lie about it, what's the point? You can't take anything anyone says for face value because this is a game for $250,000. So I don't know, but I digress. Lindsay reads the first uh, secret and says, in the lie, and the secret is, I regularly lie about my occupation. Everyone thinks it's Simone, and they're all wrong. She said she's a single mom and unemployed, and that's why people think it's her. People, somebody says they're unemployed here, and they're a mom. They're like, okay, that doesn't really add up. How can you be a mom and unemployed? But she has probably a good husband who helps take care of her, or she had a job and she just became unemployed to do the show, maybe. But then again, she could be lying. Like I said, this whole game is just silly to me because you can lie about it. It's not going to look good or bad if someone lies because you don't know. You're just basically going off assumptions. So you have nothing to go off of, nothing. Then there's another secret comes out and says, I believe money is a poison. They vote that they think Brian said this because he seems like that kind of dude that would say something about this. And he says, yeah, that was me that said that. Like I said, he could be lying, but he admits he says that, and he seems like a very honest. This seems like the most honest dude on the show to me. He says money will poison you along the way and bring out the worst version of yourself, essentially. And he wants to be extremely loyal, unlike his father. And this dude is putting it all out in the line. He's putting everything. Brian, we need more people like Brian out here, man. He's willing to share the money. He says throughout this first episode, I want to share the money. All these people are great people. It could help everyone out. And I just want us all to make it to the end. Now, that can seem a little, unrealistic and corny to some, but this dude's willing to give a part of the money that he could earn to other people. And I can tell he really wants / needs this money. And people like that, he's already showing me he deserves it. He's already showing me that he got some honor and class and morals about him to where it's not all about me, it's about we. And that's the only way we can come further as a society is if we stop thinking about me and start thinking about we. So shouts out to this man right here. Then we get the next lot or secret, and it says, after being cheated on, I slept with over 150 people as retaliation. Now, this is where it gets annoying to me, is everyone thinks it's Juelz. If I'm saying your name wrong, I'm sorry. They're all wrong. He says, that's not me. And they all think it's him because, oh, he has a shirt. It's a whole shirt unbuttoned thing. He's a player. He's a hustler. I'm like, you guys, come on. Really? What is this? What are we doing here? What game are we playing here? They're thinking the worst things of this. Every bad secret that comes out, they think it's him. And because they already have that ingrained in their minds based off whatever it is we don't know. It's crazy in these streets, coach. I mean, it's just so bizarre. Because the one brother there, you guys are thinking just the negative, worst possible things of that he could possibly be. And it shows on his face like, wow, these people really think I'm a piece of shit, essentially. And it's just sad to watch. That's another reason I'm not a fan of this game because it can single out somebody for no reason and they think he's lying. Even if he's telling the truth, they think he's lying. It makes no sense. And they keep talking. Yes, they talk about his shirt and unbuttoned. It means he probably has slept with over 150 people. Come on now. Come on. And Tulu says she doesn't trust him at all for whatever reason. Whatever reason, she doesn't trust him. Another secret comes out and says, I cheated on an ex-spouse with a current spouse. And we see Lindsay rocking back and forth. She's getting a little uncomfortable because, it's her. She's like, oh, that was me, coach. Don't do me now. Don't look this way, coach. And they all think that it is Juelz. No, Jay. Sorry, they always think it's Jay because they reason is because she's the oldest and she's been married a couple times already, and it's not her. She says, like, it could have been her. I don't. That's off. She has the most life experience out of everyone. I mean, it's hard to guess who would do that, something like that. I mean, that's a pretty dark secret right there. So, but no, that's not her. The next secret is I go to parties where women are weighed on a scale before they go inside. Dang, that's cold. Everybody better lie about that one. Julie pretty much admits it's her. There's no way it could be a girl. No, Julie does admit it's her. So she was apparently at a party where they did this. Probably college party. Kids are dumb, immature, and whatnot. So I mean, a lot of people have been to American college, and we all do silly things. So that's not that's not like if you say that to somebody out loud in like a general casual setting, they're like, oh my gosh, like wow. But in a college setting, stuff like that is I'm not saying it's, oh, great or anything, but it's normal. Like that's nothing. That's like it could be taken as a joke. I could see that being like, "Oh, weigh yourself and you can come in the party, and take a shot on your way in." That's not that deep and that serious to me per se. Now, look, I'm a guy, so we guys don't really care how much our weight is seen by. So I can't speak on the women on that behalf. I know it's rude and impolite to ask a woman her weight, but I don't think that's that deep of a secret. I mean, it probably happened in college. We all do things in college that we're not the most righteous and holy. So it wasn't a big deal. But unfortunately, they all think, oh, it has to be Juelz. It's something bad. It has to be this guy, this evil guy over here. He's like, nah, y'all. Y'all think that I'm just this demon. I'm just this menace to society. Y'all the real menaces in here. And we see some people's true colors come out with their thought process on who they think and the reasoning why. And it's sickening. It's sickening. Next secret comes out and says, at 21 years old, I became a millionaire. Now, why don't they think this is Juelz? Why don't they think this one is him? Boy, I tell you. Boy, I tell you. So they looking around, they're scoping everybody out, and they see Bryce, and Bryce is the youngest one there, obviously. He's like I said earlier, he's well put together. They was noticing the way this dude walks, the way he talks, the way he drinks, the way he picks up things. Seems like he got some money. And there's some facts to that. You people watch, you can definitely tell certain people that have certain, money, I carry themselves in a certain manner. Especially young when you're young, because when you're young, you don't notice you're doing certain things. But when you're older, you kind of can. When a young person has money, per se, you can tell because most kids don't have much money at all. And they're kind of just like whatever about themselves. But when someone's real composed and whatnot, oh, you can tell that they've been in a nice fine dining Michelin star restaurant before. You can tell they've been in a country club before. You can tell they've drove a Lambo before, some things like that. And you can tell what kind of things they appreciate. And he mentioned these things earlier too. So I mean, it's kind of obvious. Like, of course, I look around the room and nobody else kind of has this aura about them. And they do all vote him. And he lies about it, of course, which I I get why they brought a millionaire on here, but come on now. You're a millionaire already, and you're fighting over $250,000 for these people that need the money. Some people, boy, no moral compass. But hey, it's a TV show. They probably needed someone who was a millionaire or wanted someone. Just applying for these things. I mean, it's fine. You want to be on TV. I get it. You already have a million money, but why don't you go on like Selling Sunset, or why don't you go on one of these other reality realtor shows that you could be on TV and give these other people a chance to win some money that could really help them. And because if this dude wins, this show is probably gonna get the lowest rating out of any show that I've watched. So I don't hate Bryce. He doesn't seem like a bad dude. He seems like a fine guy, but I'm not a fan of him being a millionaire and being on the show. I'm just not. I'm just not. I don't like it. I don't like it. But yes, Juelz feels, you know, um, sorry, I'm cutting ahead. So Lindsay eventually admitting to the secret of cheating on her spouse and then gives the reasoning behind it. That was honorable and noble of her. She didn't have to do that. So that's kind of gaining her a little bit of brownie points. Some people may or may not believe. The thing is, she could just be doing it for show. I mean, nobody else says anything, so like you're gonna take her word for it. But she could admit this thing, and it's like, oh, you just admitted this heinous act you did, but nobody's gonna kind of raise an eyebrow because you told the truth, and no one's gonna kind of suss you out like they're doing Jewels. Interesting. I wonder why. Juelz feels singled out because he was targeted a lot in the game and others didn't fess up. You know, I would too, but I would too, my brother. I would too, because he's already on an island. With It seems like, everyone just doesn't like him. And they're just like, you gotta go. And he kind of sees what time it is. And so soon they're trying to figure out who is lying, who is telling the truth. Winnie said, she has a funny segment in this. She's looking at everything. She's looking at the back of people's ears. She got eyes in the back of her head and all these things. Bryce soon says it's hard to the camera. It's hard to keep a secret. He says he's wearing $100,000 watch and hope no one notices. And it's like, bruh, you wearing $100,000 watch in a game to win $250,000? Oh my gosh, this dude. Mm, mm, mm. He just looks like a deer in headlights right now. A deer in headlights. But I'm interested to see more from this dude. I want to see his reasoning behind coming on this show because we don't get to that in episode 1, and I'm trying to get to the bottom of what's really going on in this dude's head. I don't know, but I'm trying to find it out. Lindsay says Jake likes him. He's flirting with her. She can tell that he likes him a lot. He likes her a lot. I don't know. I didn't see much yet, but like I said, a lot of things are cut off from us, so maybe. Lindsay also says she wants the genuine people to stay and win, and she's sussing out Bryce a little bit. She sees what's going on with this man, but she don't want to put him on blast yet because it's just not the right time. And we have a funny segment of Jake trying on Winnie's heels. That was funny. Him doing. She has some big old heels. These are like high stilettos, coach, and it's a calf workout essentially. Jake says he comes from a background that's team oriented. He says he thinks he can be a leader in this group and help, lead the group to the ends where everyone can get a little piece of the pie. And yeah, that's honorable of him. I think he needs to be careful because being a leader can also make people give you a reason to target you and get you on people's radar when there's no need for that. But you also, I think every group needs a leader to a sense. And so wanting to be the leader and wanting to be in control, that's great. I want the kind of the ball in my hands too, but there's a time and place. So I hope he doesn't jump out too early and expose himself. And then, everything falls to the ground. But we'll see. We'll see. He's a military contractor, so he definitely has been in that environment before, and he kind of knows what he's doing with that. I think he's the only one in this whole show that was in the armed forces. We see Winnie is watching and says, yeah, she has eyes in the back of her big forehead. Tulu still sussing out Juelz. She's still rambling on about this brother right here, and maybe not going. I think we don't get to see it as well. Maybe go up to him and be like, hey, what's popping? Be open and honest. Like, this is how I'm feeling. Like, can you rest assure me this or that? And Juelz says, yeah, he'd be happy with leaving with $20,000. I mean, I would too. I mean, leaving with anything is amazing, So him saying that, they just don't believe him. Anything he says is going through one ear out the other. He's speaking another language. I don't think he's speaking another language. I'm pretty sure he's speaking English, but these people don't think so. It's funny. They have this little segment where they see Gasper and they think he can't do like 10 push-ups. He proves them wrong. Funny segment. And the host pops back up and she says, below the house, there is a vault. She says 2 people will get access to the vault with key cards. Then there are going to be 2 offers down there. One that benefits the people down there, and the other one that benefits the whole entire group. Tempting. What happens in the vault stays in the vault, or they can decide to tell everybody if they want to. Whatever, whatever. There's no really solidified rules in this game. It's just kind of just like do what you want and yeah, whatever. Like you could sell everybody everything if you want and whatnot. I think just these loose rules. I think there needs to be some kind of like solidified power roll rule, something. It's just very chancy. Everything's very chancy right now, and very up in the air. I just like to see people earn it, y'all. That's it. And it's yes, it's up to the people to decide if they tell what happens or not. So we see these cards come out in this little wooden food tray looking thing, and they're sticking out. Like if you put the credit card in the bill that you close up at a restaurant type settings. Gasper is the first to pick, and his is blank. Tulu picks blank. Brian picks blank. Bryce picks blank. Juelz is next, and he picks the silver card. Yeah, not everybody's happy about that. Of course they're not. Just be happy for the brother, man. Be happy. Let this man have a good experience. Y'all on the beach, have good vibes, Come on now. He's the one with the most beach-looking vibes there in Tulu, Y'all two got the beach vibes looking out. It's because, I'm not going to harp on it anymore. You get the point. Lindsay says she just can't trust him. I just can't trust that man. I wonder why. And Simone picks the last silver card after everyone else misses. She's the last one. Tulu says, repeats again, she doesn't trust Juelz. This is getting tired, y'all. This is getting very tired. Juelz says he's trying to gain the people's trust. He's doing whatever he can. Like, look, I'm trying to be nice, make jokes, whatnot, be charismatic. And they other people admit in the show, like, yeah, he's a very charismatic guy. Like, the guys say that. I don't know what the issue is. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, ladies. But we're going to get to the bottom of it sooner or later. So, Juelz and Simone enter the vault, and they open up the red offer letters. Offer 1 is, you can each take home $2,500 from the trust for yourself if someone is cut at the next vote. Not too bad. Not too bad. That's also a risk, because that could be you that's cut and you won't get any of the money. But I think it doesn't say, it says someone. So even if you go home, you could still win $2,500. So that's the safer route to go, because then you just vote for somebody and they're out and you get some money regardless. Even if you're going home, even if you do get voted out, you're going home with that money anyways, it seems. Very tempting. The second offer is $5,000 can be added to the trust, but you must block 2 people's vote from being counted at the cliff's edge. Now, look. Here's the thing about this second offer that I don't know why they picked offer 2. Look. Say they all make it to the end. And you're adding $5,000. If you add $5,000 to the total, it's really not that much of a difference of what you're getting. It's really not. If you do 5,000 divided by 11, that's $450. Each person gets an extra $450. That's nothing in the grand scheme of things. So you'd rather get everyone a chance to have $450 extra dollars if everyone makes it to the end, rather than giving yourself $2,500. The math ain't mathing. Now, look, I get why they decided to do it. I get why they're trying to build trust with the team and whatnot. But this whole game, you have to realize you have to look after yourself, especially Juelz. I hope he realized at this point, like, look, some of these people don't like me, and they definitely could vote me out, and I can't take what they have to say. And I don't know why he couldn't see these things. I don't know if they're being really sneaky about not liking him. But after the little trust thing, and he was exposed right there, that should have like maybe set an alarm clock off. Like, oh, these people don't like me. Like, what's going on? Because they thinking I'm all this bad person. I'll be the first one that they vote out. At least I can go home with something. So I think adding $5,000, even if hypothetically speaking, if there's only 2 people left at the end, you still split that 5,000, $2,500, which you would have gotten if you would have just accepted offer 1 in the first place. You would have got the 2 people, at least you would have got something. Look, at the point, the math ain't mathing right here. Offer 1, you each take home $2,500. The second offer, $5,000 is added to split for everyone. Then just lie about the offers and you get out there. Look, uh, this pained me to see them share this. Pained me. I get it. You want to be team oriented. You're around these people. You're thinking the best. Everyone's being kumbaya, kuna matata, the whole nine with you. But that math, just ain't math in me. I know being in the room, it was probably a different circumstance, but Juelz especially should have just been like, look, he should have told Simone, like, look, these people don't like me. If I get voted out, at least I leave with something. It's not that much in the grand scheme of things. The winner's still gonna take home a lot of money. At least I can leave with something. But I digress. They eventually decided to they're talking and they decided to pick offer 2. They decided to pick offer 2, which was $5,000 to the trust. And as this is going on, all the guys are talking real good on Juelz. They're like, "Oh, he's gonna make the right decision. Like, he's a good dude. We like him. Good personality, charismatic. The country. Bruce. Why am I missing his name up? Brian. Jesus, too many B's. Brian says that there's no reason not to trust him. He seems like a good guy. He seems honorable, noble, justifiable, and basically saying, there's no reason not to believe him. Tulu has no trust in anyone, and it's showing. She says she don't trust a damn soul up in here. Girl, you gotta. I get it. You don't trust the folks. This is a game. Because if she was down there, she would have took the money. I already know. She would have took the money because she would have thought of what everybody else would have done. Take the money. She's not in it for the team. Which look, I don't blame you. This is a solo game. Be in it for yourself, 100%. It's just funny because they're making this seem like it's a team oriented game when it's really not. It is, but it isn't. It's kind of a weird thing to kind of grasp your head around. But I don't blame her for not trusting nobody. She explains a little bit her background and whatnot later on about why, and I understand why she don't trust nobody. I definitely understand it. Juelz and Simone, yeah, they're discussing options on who to block because you have to. If they pick the second option, they have to block 2 people's votes. That's another thing. At least with the first option, you didn't have to block anyone's vote, but you wouldn't take home the money if nobody went home either, though. But you could have just voted somebody out, and then you're getting the money either way, you go home or not. So I think it was dumbfounded of them not to pick the first option for themselves. But we're on this team game right now. Yeah, we're on this team game. I think Brian got them a little. He got his little rancher magic on them and thinking everybody's gonna share the money. But yeah, they pick option 2 and they pick Bryce, the young realtor, and Tulu to get their votes blocked. They pick them to get their votes blocked. I will just say that. Tulu is not happy because she's constantly had things stripped away from her and she's not pleased with the outcome of the decision. I'd be mad too. You take my vote away, I don't get to say so, but then you kind of get the pity empathy card, you got to play that like I did nothing to deserve this. Especially as a woman, you could do the WGTC technique. If you don't know what WGTC is, you can just ask the comments underneath of what that means. If you've seen some of the past videos, you'll know what that means. About Squid Game a little bit. I don't touch on it too much, but yes, that's a technique that's been used for eons. But she does not use it, and she's very sad, and understandably so. I'm not gonna tell her think how she should feel in the situation. But keep your composure, girl. Keep your composure. All the girls say this is the room that we're sticking with. The girls get the younger girls, so they exclude like Jay and one other person. but they're sticking together. They have this women's alliance, it seems. The rancher, Brian, hopes everyone can share the wealth equally. Good dude. He on his Moses settings. And it's soon time for the ceremony. They join the host down at the cliff's edge and make their decisions. So she gives them some time to talk at this table before they're each called down. Jake starts talking and is propping everyone up and saying how good everyone is. Essentially, he's giving everyone compliments about each other and making the vibes good in the room. That's very smart of him to do. It's a dangerous as well. You're putting yourself out there. You know, uh, this isn't Squid Game where if you put yourself out there, you're going to be eliminated. But he's starting his leadership title roles and duties per se. But people like to be propped up and buttered up. I don't see a big deal with what he said. I was a little worried when he was doing it, but he got off the hook. And he says, let's start it as a family and they'll leave it as a family. Okay, it's been one day, Jake, but it is what it is. He says if someone else does something shady, then he will eventually find out what's going on, Scooby-Doo settings, and they're going to get down to it. And their dog, too. Tulu says everyone is lovey-dovey right now, but it won't last. She admits she feels some type of way about losing her vote. Yeah, we know. Juelz says in his eyes, it was the fair way they decided who lost their vote. Now, they decided basically they picked Bryce because they knew he was young. He wasn't going to do nothing. I would have picked him too. I think they should have picked. She's a personality in there, like a bigger personality, it seems, from a viewer point of view. I think you don't pick those people because they're going to be the ones the most vocal about not having their vote. And they know you're the one that had them lose their vote. So they're going to be the most vocal and loud about it. Whether you pick someone quiet, maybe not have as much influence, that could just, be brushed off to the side. I don't think it was a smart decision to pick her. That wasn't, the reasoning was like he didn't want her to vote him out, but it's not just one. It only takes one person to get you voted out. It's not really her decision. She can't do it alone. She could do it alone, but I don't think she would have done it. I think if you would not picked her, she wouldn't have, rallied the troops as hard to go after you. Maybe someone else would have done it. Would have been like, okay, I'm here for the team. Like if you would have picked Bryce and Brian, I think that would have been the perfect combo. We're like, okay, like them two seem willing to make that sacrifice, but it's not what happened. But we didn't. Then again, we're coming from the viewer's point of view, but they don't see everything, so I'll just keep it at that as well. And yes, Juelz tells who's the first down there, and he says to the host, he thinks everyone will stick to the plan, and he elects not to vote anyone out and share the money. Jay says, we can't be pussies. And chooses to, I don't remember, they said she didn't vote. I don't think she voted anyone out. I don't think she did. But then Julie goes down there and votes for Juelz to be evicted. Winnie gets down there and votes for Juelz to be evicted. Lindsay votes for Juelz to be evicted. Wow. Then Tulu gets down there and she's so this is weird. She's apparently lost her vote. And the host would be like, well, who do you want to be evicted? She's like, do I get a vote? And she's like, well, if you think who it is you think it is, then maybe you do. I was like, hold on. She gets a vote. I thought her vote got taken away. Not that it matters at this point, but what is going on? Are there any rules to this show that they're sticking with? I'm so confused and lost. Why would that even be an option? I'm so confused. There wasn't no explanation behind this. There wasn't. I just know she voted to evict Juelz, but she got her vote stripped away. Is it like, oh, if she guesses right, she gets her vote? What if she guesses wrong? Then what happens? Oh, nothing. What? Come on, y'all. Come on. This is this was just weird. Just really weird. I mean, are there no rules on this show? Can we is it a free for all? Can we just literally do what we want? Flip tables, jump in the ocean, bob for apples, you know, skinny dip. I don't know what's going on, coach. I don't know what's going on. It makes no sense to me. Yes, the host says it depends on if she believes the girls are telling the truth or not about voting him out. What does that even mean? That makes no sense. So yes, everyone votes essentially, and the guys don't vote to vote Jules out, I might add. But obviously, Jules, they find out he gets voted to go home. He says he's disappointed and that he did not vote. And then it gets real quiet once he walks off. No one's saying anything at the table. Soon Brian gets up and he says, "This is bullshit." He is pissed off, y'all. He is about to go get these horses and send them out and just start riding in the hills, y'all. He's going after like Hans did Mulan settings. He's going up the mountain through the woods and he's about to raid the castle. He ain't having it. This man, y'all pissed off the wrong cowboy. Jake is pissed too. He gets up and leaves. And so then Gasper, Jake, and I keep calling him Rancher. Brian get together and they seem like they're making a little, they got their little three hyena settings and they're like, we gonna figure out a way to get this thing right. Cause this is wrong. And we ain't having it. Cause that was our dog. He was a cool dude. They said there was nothing wrong with him. He was charismatic. The whole house aura is gonna drop because of he's gone, and it's just a bad vibe, bad energy now because now they see what's really going on. Some people out here just talking just to talk and not walking the walk, and they definitely pissed off. I'd be pissed off too. That's my dog, and you're just leaving for literally no reason whatsoever. I mean, if it was a reason and he did some obscure, obnoxious, toxic things, okay, that's fine. You can go. I understand the reason why. But he literally told you guys the truth on everything. He did everything he said he was going to do. It's not his fault he picked the card. It was just a lucky draw. He had to make a decision. He voted to help the team out. And then he didn't even vote. And he admitted to everything y'all doing. But y'all just assumed this dude was lying based off his appearance, essentially. And, his demographics, per se. Or to an extent, not demographics. Just based off his personality, per se. But in actions, all actions speak louder than words, and his actions backed up everything that he was saying. And yeah, the girls assumed the worst of him for seemingly no reason, and that's how episode 1 ends, y'all. So this show definitely didn't have the best start for me, per se, because I was just not a fan of how they singled this dude out for no reason whatsoever and voted him out based off of nothing. I've never seen a show where you get an option to vote someone out or not. Now, if you had to pick someone, if they had to vote somebody out and that was part of the rules in the game, go ahead, do what you need to do. I still wouldn't have been happy with him leaving this early, but you got to pick somebody. But the way that they did it, it was just ugly. It was just not, to me, it was just not morally right. No, this is not a morally right game, though. This is a game. You got to throw this kind of game. Actually, you can kind of keep your morals because you can split the money. But if you want to be, have more money for yourself, by all means, but just make it for a reason. The only people who actually could have reasons for going home in this first episode was the young realtor, Bryce, and they sussed him out immediately. They should have been like, look, we can tell this dude got money. Now, there was no proof per se, so they could just go off assumption again, but they could have grilled this dude. This dude, if you put his back against the wall, he would have folded, but they didn't put pressure on him like they did Juelz. If they would have, I mean, they didn't. They could have. There's other ways, I think, to figure out things, but also since you don't have to vote someone out, just give it some time. You'll get more chances to figure out what's really going on with people. But just based off of nothing, let's just hope episode 2 things turn around a little bit because I'm fed up real quick, y'all, real quick. But yes, y'all, that was episode 1. That's my thoughts on episode 1. We'll see what episode 2 brings. We have the first 4 episodes have released, so we'll get to all those. Thank y'all for tuning in. If you have any other comments, concerns, discrepancies, opinions, please comment below. I want to hear y'all thoughts on this episode as well. And yeah, we also have some exciting news before we get out of here. The Traders premiere tomorrow, which means we got some Traders content to get started on. I can't wait, y'all. I cannot wait. I'm going to be at a Traitors premiere party next week, and I will have special behind the scenes content and footage for the members only. If you want to be a member, all you have it's $4 a month, 4.50 a month, nothing whatsoever. It's measly. Join the membership because we'll get a lot of behind the scenes content from that party and other things as well, but that's just one I'm promoting because that's coming up. And other things that I, happen to be with regards to, people from Squid Game, events that I'm going to, cool people to see, whatnot, and anything that people might want to see. So yeah, become a member. That would really bless me and really warm my soul because you're trying to build a community in here, y'all. I'm trying to bring a real community. I've been pumping them out, and so I want to keep working for y'all, man. I love doing this, and I love talking to the people to give another perspective on what's really going on. So thank you for tuning in, watching this video, and we'll see what happens in episode 2. Till next time, y'all, peace and blessings, and have a wonderful rest of your